Alright guys, so in this video today we are building an ultra budget RTX gaming PC, and if you guys watched the last video you would have seen that we got an RTX gaming PC for £300 locally, and in this video we're basically building that PC but we're changing a few parts around. So let's get on with the video and I'll break down what we're using. At the end I'll put a breakdown of the cost of everything, but for now let's get on and build this PC. So for the motherboard we went with this Asus Prime A320MK and we paired it with the Ryzen 5 2600X that we got from the £300 RTX build that we bought locally. We also used the stock cooler just to save some costs, as it obviously came with a stock cooler, but I did replace it with one of my new ones just so that way we don't have to apply our own thermal paste. And for the RAM, we're using this Corsair Vengeance DDR4 16GB kit that was also part of that local deal. Now unfortunately this is only 2400 MHz, but you will see later in the video we had to swap some parts around, unfortunately. For storage we're using this 256GB ADATA M.2 along with the 1TB hard drive, which were all included in the local pickup that I got. And for the case, we went with the Game Max Infinity Mini, which is a nice micro ATX fish tank style case. And the same with the power supply, the Corsair VS550. This was also part of that PC that we picked up recently. For the graphics card we're using the RTX 3050 8GB, which I picked up off eBay for £105. Now I know what a lot of you are probably thinking, a 3050, aren't they awful? And that is true, they don't perform the best, but as I mentioned in a recent video, RTX PCs just seem to sell so much better. So even if it costs a little bit more to buy an RTX card over something like a GTX, people are more likely to buy it just because it's newer, and I think some people just think if it's an RTX card it's going to be good. We did also use some Formula Mod cable extensions that we got from AliExpress for £8. So I was happy to see that it turned on first time and it booted into Windows absolutely fine, so that was a great start. But then that's when the issues started happening. We would get these WHEA errors, and after doing a lot of research the internet was telling me it could be anything, so I tried a new power supply, I tried new RAM, I even seen a post saying that the latest Nvidia driver was causing this issue as well. I tried rolling back the drivers after uninstalling them with DDU and nothing would fix it. In the end I ended up having to put in my Ryzen 5 3600, and after running stress tests for 3 hours I had 0 errors. So unfortunately for some reason this 2600X was just pinging us with so many errors, and if you've seen the last video you would have seen that we were literally playing games on this PC. We were literally playing with the 2070 that was originally in here and the 2600X, the whole original configuration, and it didn't crash in any games. Now here's the thing, I cannot be selling a PC if it's getting any errors, because even if it's working for me now and it doesn't crash at all, which it didn't, if in the future anything goes wrong it's going to backfire and it's going to cost me money. So what I done was I reached out to the seller and explained the situation, and she was kind enough to refund me £20. Now obviously I paid £300 for this, but I did bargain her down to £300, so in the end this means we got the PC for £280, but we then sold the old case and the fans that were included for £30, which means the whole PC cost £250. I will put on screen now, but because we took out the RTX 2070 PC, which is valued around 140 to 150, the motherboard, CPU, RAM, storage and power supply cost us £100. But we then put in the RTX 3050 along with a new case and an RGB controller. So I will just put on screen the whole cost of everything now. And the only other thing was I was not happy pairing the Ryzen 5 3600 with 2400 MHz RAM. I knew it would negatively impact the performance a fair amount, so I swapped out the RAM kit for a HyperX 3200 MHz kit, and what I'll do is I will just sell the 2400 MHz RAM for like £15. So I will add on a little bit extra for the cost of the RAM upgrade as well. So overall, when it came to gaming, honestly I think it done pretty good. Obviously on older titles like Fortnite, which we played in performance mode anyway, we were seeing very respectable frame rates. Now for my Fortnite subscribers, as I always say to you, if you're building a budget PC and you don't know what CPU to get the Ryzen 5 5600. It honestly just performs that much better than a 3600. In this video we're seeing around 180 on average. Just by going to a 5600 paired with some standard 3200 MHz RAM, you will see around 250 to 270 FPS on the same settings that I used here. But things like GTA 5 we were playing with ray tracing on. Obviously this is the enhanced edition, so the performance is pretty good on there anyway, but the game looked great and it was extremely playable with decent frame rates. Forza Horizon 5 as well, we run at very high settings, and we did have RTX enabled in that as well. Any games that I was able to run RTX I did try, like Cyberpunk for example. I tried ray tracing and unfortunately we were getting around 30 FPS, so I did switch off the ray tracing and we used a high preset with DLSS, and we were getting around 70 to 80 FPS, which is honestly quite good for an extremely budget PC like this. And once again with Black Myth Wukong, this is also a very demanding game. We had to play at the lowest settings that we could to achieve that 60 FPS frame rate, and even then we was dipping in the 50s a little bit, but it was playable. It's just realistically you want a better graphics card if you're playing a game like this. Now at the moment it is pretty hard to build a budget gaming PC or any PC at all, with the prices of graphics cards shooting quite high up. Even older cards I've seen have had a bit of a price increase. And as I said before in a previous video, I really just wanted to test out one of the lowest end RTX graphics cards to see how it done. Alternatively, if you were going to try and replicate this build, I would say have a look on AliExpress. You can get a CPU on there. You could get a cheap B450M motherboard, and you could probably find some decent 16GB kit of DDR4 RAM for about £20. And then in terms of graphics cards, if you look on the second hand market, you may find something like a 2060 for around the same price, or maybe if you spend a bit more you'll get an RX 5700 XT or even an RTX 2070, which will perform much better. But honestly, when you are working with a budget, let's say under £400, there's always going to be corners that have to be cut. But as long as you're on a platform that has an upgrade path, it doesn't matter, because you're not stuck to this PC and have to upgrade the whole thing later down the line. That's why the AM4 platform is such a great option for budget builds, because you do have somewhat of an upgrade path. Even though AM4 isn't the latest platform, there's still some many good CPUs like the 5700 X3D that absolutely kick ass in CPU intensive games. But that's going to be it for this video today, guys. Let me know what you thought of this build, and anyway, I'll see you all soon.